Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come talk to y'all tonight. I love wood turning, as we all do, but I also love teaching. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making all these YouTube videos. I'm up to about 425 now. I've got a website that I put all the articles that I've published. You can download the articles. I also have a number of demonstration and project handouts out there, including a 2-page handout on this particular project, which includes several of the flip charts that I'm going to be referred to tonight, and it has links to my YouTube channel. But I like a 1:3 or 1:2, 1:2 ratio, which is generally phi. I made a Fibonacci gauge. So basically, you're going to divide this into thirds, and the way I'm going to do that, so this is going to be the lid, and the reason it's the lid because it's already mounted in the chuck, and you do the lid first. So I'm going to leave what's in here as just a little extra if I need it. So I'm going to measure from the outside, and then I'm going to leave a scotia room at the bottom, number one for a jam chuck, but also for the tenon I'm going to add on there. So that allows me a little extra room for a tenon. So that'll give me roughly a 1:3 ratio. Now you can make these Fibonacci gauges. You can find instructions on the internet. But surprisingly enough, I don't know if anybody in here has been tattooed recently or ladies had their eyebrows tattooed, but they use this for your eyebrows. I can't explain why. You look at the picture and it's like, okay, but there's some kind of golden ratio going on with your eyebrows. And these are $6 or $7 or $8 off eBay or Amazon, stainless steel, so you don't have to make them, they're pretty cheap. Now lid types. You've got an in-fit lid. They're fairly easy to make. The disadvantage, if you put anything into it, this reduces the capacity of your box to hold anything, but most of these things are not practical for anywhere. You put a little ring in there, you don't have to worry about it, but that's one. This is an inset. This is an example of that box. And it's a very elegant looking box, and using contrasting wood makes it very nice, and you make it a one-handed fit. Woodturners love nice, tight pop fits. Ladies that are going to buy are the ones buying them, and they want it loose because they want a one-handed operation, and then they reach in and get out the earrings or the ring or put in a tooth for the baby tooth or something, whatever they use it for. The traditional is the overfit, and that's what most boxes look like. Now, there's also one called a piston fit, and I use those on pill boxes where you have a fairly long flange. And you get it pretty close, and because of that friction over a distance, and when you're pressing down, you're pressing the air out, and it just kind of suction fits. And these are fun little boxes to make because there's no hollow into them. You can find my project handout on my website, but you're basically drilling. This is probably a 1/2 inch, and this is probably 5/8 inch. Then all you got to do is size this to fit that 5/8 and shape it, and you're pretty much in business. And that's that standard overfitting lid that we just finished with. Now here's an inset lid, but it's kind of a different kind of box. I picked up this scrap of cherry burl in the Highland parking lot. Someone threw it away for hoping somebody in the club would get it, and it hung around my shop for years. The grain is running this way, I think. Anyway, I couldn't figure out what to do with it because it's so small. Then I ran across or saw a demo by Mark St. Ledger out of Virginia on one of these, and I thought, oh yeah, what a cool idea. Harvey remembers when I sold one of these boxes, one of the earlier up at Unicorn. I priced it ridiculously cheap, and hey, somebody bought it. I made another one. So there's that long flange. Now, again, we talked about a loose fit, and that's a pretty good way to make most of them. Then you got a belly fit, and that's where it's a little bit lighter as it goes on, a little bit lighter at the end, but it's kind of fat in the middle. It's got a little bit of belly, so it kind of just slides right on and then pops in there, and that's a really nice, elegant design if you can make that. And then threaded, I love threading. Threading comes into play. Apron boxes When you do acorn boxes, you can use contrasting wood. You don't have to worry about a grain match. So that's another reason why to use plain, straight, ordinary grain like dogwood or Bradford pear, because the grain match is insignificant. This is that elegant box. This is threaded too, but that's a very nice shape. If you want to get into box making, there's two great books. There's Chris Stott, Turn Boxes, 50 Designs. It talks a little bit about some of the technique, but most of it is 2 pages on these 50 boxes, and he gives exact dimensions down to the fraction of a millimeter, so they're easy to, if you like to follow an exact design, he gives you an exact design, but he gives you a lot of different ideas. If you really want to learn about turning boxes, you got to go to the master, and that's Richard Graffin. He talks all about style and design, and as well as technique and wood selection, and there's a variation of the elegant box right there. The other technique that Richard uses is, he says, make some shapes. I think Phil Coulson called these, the French word is maquette. I've never heard that before, but it's like, don't turn the box, just turn the shape. And when Harvey got me excited about turning a pedestal box, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to make some different styles, because they all look sort of like finials or things that go on the end of curtain rods. And then you spray paint them black, and then you kind of sit back here and look at the features and say, well, what do I like about it and what I don't like? And I like this bead here, but I want a little different design here. This one, the finial mimics the shape of the box. So you kind of play around with it. It's not a big investment. You're not really sanding it. You're not hollowing it. You're just slapping out and playing with creativity. Here's another one. Just a little knob, not even glued in there. It's not a box. It had a hole in it for something. I just picked it up and said, well, this scrap of wood will work for that. There's lots of different design possibilities. How you join the box. A V-groove is a nice technique. I probably got that on one of these. Here's a little bit of a V-groove. It's also got a bead to help disguise it because wood moves. This one has just this little narrow 1/16 of an inch line that Chris Stott calls, I think he calls it a sight line. It's about 1 millimeter deep, about 1 millimeter wide. And it just adds a nice little touch to it. So when the wood moves, if it had to be touched perfectly, might see a little gap. But if you put a sight line on it, you don't have to worry about that gap, just a little clamshell. Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. Make a box.
I love wood turning boxes. I've made more than 20 videos on turning boxes, and I've put them into this playlist you can access here by clicking. As the first one starts, you can look over the different videos in the playlist on the right and look for the one that might inspire you for your next box project. Or you can simply binge watch, as the next one will automatically load after the first one ends. If you have any questions or comments on box turning, please post below. Y'all stay safe. Come on back here.